This is Crenshaw, Briggs, and VT. We want the touchdown. We not trying to go for 3. And it's best if you get up out the street, cause them bulls out the pen and they about to stampede.
Who's the boss of the Texans after Cal? Is Nick. And Nick's the one with the power. Lovey has has say, but it's Nick. Nick is the boss, not Jack. Jack ceased being a boss as soon as Nick got here, as soon as the interim general manager thing ended. That was the height of his power. But after that, I think it waned each year. And this year, it really wasn't like he was, had a lot of flex. But, the things he was doing, they were important. And as Nick said, they'll have to figure out a way to delegate a lot of that. And people will have to shoulder more. Everyone will have to do more. But these won't be things that I think that will show up for, for media or fans.
Yeah.
Oh, can I? Okay, if I can ask, can I just ask one more question? So, so I understand what you're saying is that Nick was basically the boss. However, and I do believe that. However, one concern that I have is why was Josh McCown even the conversation? Because from everything that I've heard, that was really Easterby's guy. Yet we interviewed him 3 times total, twice, the previous search, and then once prior to that. So. I'm sorry. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, I'll tell you about that. He was someone that got to know Jack in the speaking circuit for Christian men's groups in the Carolinas. And he saw what a lot of people see in Josh is great leadership, charisma, and football intelligence, and incredible potential. Keyword, potential, unproven, hasn't coached beyond high school. He's not the only one that thought he could be a head coach. So did friends of his like Steve Smith, who's a Hall of Fame receiver. He wasn't the only one that saw potential in Josh McCown. The Jaguars did interview him. It was more of a conversation more so than a serious head coaching interview. He has a future in coaching when he wants to have it. But Cal McNair felt like you can't just hire a high school coach and make him the head coach. What I think he was capable of doing was if he had wanted to step away from being around his sons, who both play football, he could have become quarterback's coach, passing game coordinator, assistant head coach. There are many things, but he needed to be willing to start off at that. And for Jack, he was someone that, saw something special in Josh to the point where he felt like he deserved consideration. Hines Ward was not going to get head coach. He interviewed too. And that's another former player that didn't have a big coaching background. He's now a head coach in the XFL. But yeah, sometimes when you are a Josh McCown and you're a bit unique because you've been a backup quarterback for 20 years and you're really, really smart. The Eagles had wanted to make him offense coordinator before. And they run a pretty good organization with Howie Roseman. They won a Super Bowl. So it wasn't like this guy was some kind of slappy. I mean, he's legit. But it wasn't something I think this organization was ready for, or the league, mind you, with going on the lack of minority coaches for a guy that's, is a white quarterback. It was already getting dunked on so much that it would have become even more of a problem. And I was getting, I guess, a lot of backlash even from writing just like what's the upside of Josh and interviewing people that know him and like saying, okay, well, what does this guy bring to the table? What could he do? And people that know him well, like Steve. And that was kind of like where a lot of my piece came from on that. But I mean, he pushed for it. I think him not getting him in lost some standing. Yeah, sure. And sometimes like you have to read the room, like when something's falling short, if he's not getting it, maybe, stand down. But yeah, he almost got the job. And then they didn't really, their backup plan was Lovey. They scrambled and they hired Lovey. They promoted him and they looked at some other coaches, who interviewed Brian Flores, who was in and is in litigation with the NFL. And I don't think this was ever his preferred destination anyway, was to come here. But he interviewed. And my understanding of their Zoom was more just like a combo because they all know each other. It wasn't like, what are you going to do? What's your plan? And he had just gotten fired by Miami. So
right.
That's what it is. I mean, the McCown thing, it's not only him. It's something that the organization entertained and ultimately they passed on. But that shows in my mind, if he was the boss, if he had all the power, if he was the man in charge, then Josh McCown would be your coach.
Right.
And I think he would have been popular with the media, and I think there would have been a lot of interesting stories, and we would have enjoyed talking ball with him. And the guy's very smart, and he's a heck of a talker. Whether they would win that way, I mean, who knows? You have Lovey running the defense, possibly. Maybe that would have worked. Maybe they could have worked together. I don't know. We'll never know.
This is Crenshaw, Briggs, and VT. We want the touchdown. We not trying to go for 3. And it's best if you get up out the street, cause them bulls out the pen and they about to stampede.